Hey Vikings Nation, what's up my people? If you're still feeling that sting in your chest after the regular season ended, trust me, you're not alone. This year tested our hearts, our patience, and our belief, and yet here we are, still talking Minnesota Vikings football like true fans do. The regular season is officially over, and the Minnesota Vikings finished with a 9-8 record, just barely missing the playoffs. One game, one single moment separating us from January football, while Green Bay sneaks in by the narrowest of margins. That's football, brutal, emotional, and unforgiving. But don't go anywhere because even without the Vikings in the bracket, there's a lot to break down. The playoff field is set, the chaos is coming, and some of these predictions might surprise you. Stay with me because I'll tell you exactly how this postseason could shake out and why it still matters to Vikings fans. The Minnesota Vikings season will be remembered as one of those what-if years. A team that fought every single week, stayed competitive deep into December, and proved they belong in the conversation, even if the standings say otherwise. 9 wins in a tough NFC isn't nothing. The Vikings showed resilience, especially in close games, but the margin for error in this league is razor-thin. One turnover, one blown coverage, one missed kick can change everything. So while the Vikings watch from home, we watch the playoffs with sharper eyes. We analyze, we learn, and we compare because every playoff snap tells us what this team needs to take the next step in 2026. Let's start in the AFC wildcard round, where things could get wild fast. The Houston Texans heading into Pittsburgh is not as simple as it looks on paper. The Steelers have tradition, history, and that intimidating home environment. But let's be honest, Houston's defense has been one of the most complete units in the league. Pressure up front, speed at linebacker, and a secondary that doesn't give you freebies. If Pittsburgh's offense struggles to find rhythm early, this game could flip quickly. Don't be shocked if Houston walks into that stadium and silences the crowd with defense and discipline. Next up, Buffalo on the road in Jacksonville. And for once, the Bills don't have the Kansas City Chiefs lurking in the shadows. At least not yet. Josh Allen's biggest enemy has always been turnovers, not opposing defenses. If he protects the football, Buffalo has more than enough firepower to put points on the board against a Jaguars defense that's been inconsistent all season. Jacksonville will fight, but in clean weather and a controlled environment. This feels like a game where Buffalo's experience makes the difference late. Now let's talk about the toughest AFC wild card matchup to predict. Chargers versus Patriots. A physical team against a flashy storyline. Yes, the Patriots have an MVP-caliber quarterback season on their resume, but context matters. They benefited from one of the softest schedules in the league, and playoff football exposes pretenders fast. The Chargers play fast, hit hard, and won't be intimidated. This feels like a year-too-early lesson for New England, while LA sneaks through with toughness. Switching over to the NFC, and honestly, this conference is pure chaos. Let's start with the least dramatic matchup. Rams versus Panthers. Carolina limped into the playoffs at 8-9, losing momentum when it mattered most. That defense has been leaking yards, and that's dangerous against a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. Even on the road, the Rams should control this game. Experience, precision, and just enough big plays to put it away. Now this one, 49ers at Eagles. This is playoff football at its finest, and it's the game everyone will be watching. San Francisco surged late in the season, but their final test against Seattle exposed some cracks. Philadelphia's defense is built to exploit those exact weaknesses, especially in the trenches. If the Eagles control the line of scrimmage, this game tilts their way. It won't be easy, but Philly's defense feels like the deciding factor. And then we get the rivalry game, Bears versus Packers. Vikings fans, you already know this one hits different. Chicago finally looks like it has a real franchise quarterback, and Caleb Williams took major strides this year. Meanwhile, Green Bay limps into the postseason banged up and missing key defensive pieces. If the Bears ever had a chance to flip the script in this rivalry, this is it. And watching the Packers fall? Yeah, that would heal a little bit of that Vikings pain. Moving into the AFC divisional round, defense becomes everything. Denver hosting the Chargers is a classic grind-it-out matchup. The Broncos don't light up the scoreboard, but neither do the Chargers. What Denver does have is elite defensive talent across all three levels. At home, with that defense setting the tone, Denver feels like the safer pick to advance, even if it's not pretty. Houston versus Buffalo is where things get really interesting. Two strong teams, two different identities. Houston's defense forced nearly 2 turnovers per game this season, and that's terrifying if you're Josh Allen. 1 or 2 mistakes could swing the entire game. As good as Buffalo can be, this feels like a spot where Houston's balance and discipline take over late. Back to the NFC divisional round, where Sam Darnold's story gets complicated, especially for Vikings fans. This is his chance at redemption after that rough playoff loss with Minnesota last year. Seattle's defense has been elite down the stretch, allowing 10 or fewer points in 4 of their last 6 games. Stafford and Puka Nacua won't go quietly, but if Seattle dictates the pace, Darnold could rewrite his narrative. Philadelphia versus Chicago is a matchup full of flaws. Neither team is perfect, and both have shown vulnerability. The Eagles' run game took a noticeable step back this season, but Chicago's defense has been even more concerning, especially against strong offenses. If those defensive issues resurface, Philly survives and moves on. In the AFC Championship, we get Houston versus Denver. 2 elite defenses. One big question. Bo Nix has been solid, not spectacular. C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, has already proven he can handle playoff pressure. When everything tightens up, quarterback poise matters most. That's why Houston feels like the team punching its ticket to the Super Bowl. The NFC Championship brings Seattle and Philadelphia together, and this is where things get uncomfortable. Philadelphia has been inconsistent all season, especially offensively. And against a top-tier defense, those flaws become magnified. Seattle's defense could be the reason the Eagles fall just short again, sending the Seahawks to the big game. And finally, the Super Bowl. Texans versus Seahawks. A matchup nobody predicted in August. This postseason feels wide open, and weird things always happen in January and February. Houston may have started slow, but they've been building all year. C.J. Stroud getting his Super Bowl in year 3? That's a statement. And Vikings fans, remember this feeling, because one day soon, this story needs to be ours. If you're a true Minnesota Vikings fan, drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you agree with? Who am I dead wrong about? Smash that like button, subscribe for more Minnesota Vikings news, and share this with every Vikings fan you know. We're not done yet, Skol forever. And Vikings fans, let me leave you with this, because this playoff picture isn't just entertainment for us. It's education. Every snap, every adjustment, every collapse and comeback shows exactly what separates teams watching from home and teams lifting trophies. When you see defenses dominate, remember how close the Minnesota Vikings already are. When you watch quarterbacks stay calm in chaos, think about how critical decision-making becomes in January. This isn't just football on TV. It's a blueprint for what Minnesota needs to become. That's why staying locked into Vikings news right now matters more than ever. The offseason decisions, the draft, free agency, all of it is influenced by what works and what fails in the playoffs. This front office knows the window doesn't stay open forever. A 9-8 season without a playoff spot hurts, but it also fuels urgency. You can feel that this roster isn't far away. It just needs sharper edges, cleaner execution, and 1 or 2 difference makers in key moments. And let's be honest, Vikings fans have seen this movie before. The talent is there. The passion is there. The question is whether the final pieces fall into place when it matters most. So as these playoffs unfold, watch closely. Watch how elite defenses close games. Watch how championship teams protect the football. Watch how coaches adjust when the pressure hits its peak. Because next season, this needs to be Minnesota's stage, not just a lesson learned from the couch. If you're still here with me, you're a real one. Drop your Super Bowl pick in the comments right now. Do you agree with Houston? Do you believe Seattle makes that run? Or do you think chaos flips the script again? Make sure you like the video, subscribe for non-stop Minnesota Vikings news, and share this with every Vikings fan who bleeds purple. This journey isn't over, it's just getting started. Skol forever. Purple heart, yellow heart.